This is everything you need to know about unlocking the new Dark Aether Portal. Just like the other Dark Aether rifts, you are going to need to find 4 story-related quest items. The first of which is given to you at the end of the brand new story mission. So first things first, make sure that you have the brand new Act 4 story mission selected in the menus. Then head on into Tier 3 in this area and go through the portal. Follow the steps through the story mission, it's really self-explanatory. And at the very end, you should get a reward rift with a giraffe in it. This item is already upgraded. The items that we're about to get need to be upgraded, but the giraffe is already upgraded for you. Jumping in a new game, your second item is going to be found in the I-7 quadrant. Here in the bottom right hand side of the map, there is a mansion that you need to go into. On the second story, there is a master bedroom, and below the bed there is a chest. Now you won't have any props, you don't need to shoot this, you don't need to grenade it, all you need to do is interact with it, and maybe hold to interact with it. You will hear a quote, and then a reward rift will spawn, and it will give you an imaginary friend photo. Your second item is awarded to you when you kill a mercenary sergeant with a dog. So whether you get the dog from the meat and the doghouse system, or you pop your own with a dog bone, that dog needs to kill a sergeant. The easiest way to do that is just to go to a mercenary camp and let your dog loose on all of the mercenaries there and make sure it kills the mercenary sergeant. Unfortunately, we can only do this quest once, so I have no idea if this works with like ether extractor contracts, so if you have experience with that, be sure to let me know in the comment section below. For your fourth and final object, head on over to the Ether Storm, and all you need to do is get around 50 zombie kills within the Ether Storm. You don't need to kill Stormcaller, nothing like that, just simply 50 zombie kills within the storm. It should give you your fourth and final object. It's the Science Journal. Now we need to upgrade this, and we're going to need to go to Tier 3, so be sure you're prepared. Now this is hard to describe for me for some reason, so make sure you're watching this video. There are 3 separate ritual sites that you need to utilize in order to upgrade these items. To activate these ritual sites, you need to find a small little triangle outlined with bright glowing purple symbols. From that triangle, you should have a line of sight to 3 other symbols on sort of stones across different walls and environments in the map. So for example, this triangle right here, there is a symbol on this wall right here, on this wall right here, and on this archway right here. Shooting these symbols will reveal bigger symbols on the environment around you. So you can see just around this corner, there's big bright glowing symbols right here. And what you're tasked to do, what the game wants you to do, is to put yourself in a position where from your perspective, these symbols form a perfect triangle. As you can see, standing on top of this archway, this is exactly where the game wants you to stand. Simply standing in the right position will begin this ritual sequence. Very, very, very important to find an interactable thing that says perform the summoning. If you don't interact with the perform the summoning thing, this step will fail. So once this ritual starts and you've activated the perform the summoning thing, you need to kill zombies within this circle. You'll know the zombies are within the circle when they're glowing purple. It's pretty self-explanatory from here on out. Now it is worth noting other players getting zombie kills within the circle does not count. Your own dog getting kills within the circle does count, but your dog could get distracted and go outside of the circle, and those zombie kills do not count. This step takes a lot longer than you would think for being in Tier 3, but once it's completed, you should see those triangles or those symbols of that triangle now turn red, and you will notice a big bulky boss zombie that is spawned in. For this specific ritual, we spawned in a boss hellhound, and it has a ton of damage. Luckily, it got distracted by my dog, and they're pretty easy to take out. They're just bullet sponges. Once you take out the boss zombie, a reward rift will spawn, and it should have your upgraded item. Now, if you fail this step like I did one time, the step will still complete, and you will get a reward rift, but you won't have a boss zombie spawn, and within the reward rift, you will have a legendary ether tool and a triple pack-a-punch crystal, which for a failed step is honestly pretty cool. But have no fear, if you fail the step, you can return back to the original triangle and try again after a certain period of time. These things do reset. The second triangle is right here, and the symbols are going to be on this building here, and that building there. You can then move to the rooftop right here. This is where the triangle gets lined up. You can move back into this building inside the little like hallway thing. This was where I found the interaction point for the perform summoning thing. And then once you've killed enough zombies, you're going to get a mimic. You kill the mimic, and there you go. You've upgraded your second item. The third ritual site is going to be here. The first location of the symbol is going to be here on this building. Next location is going to be here on the side of this building, and the third location is right here. Then you can climb up on top of this wall here, and you're going to stand right about here, and you should get another perform summoning thing right as soon as it spawns in, you'll kill all the zombies within the circle, and this one for me spawned in a mangler. Kill the mangler, got your fourth and final upgraded object. Now you're going to want to head on over to the center of tier 3 right here. Now because these items somewhat look similar, you want to follow what I'm doing right here and put the right items in the right pedestal. If they're in the right pedestal, they should be glowing at the bottom. Now this step was incredibly glitchy for me. I've heard a lot of people this can be glitchy as well. I've put in all of the things in the correct pedestal and it's still not activated. I've seen this happen with other streamers. I've heard this happen with people on my Discord. Some solves I've seen with this is taking out all of the items, going and doing a contract, putting them back in. I've seen that work. I've heard that it doesn't work when the ether storm is expanding, but for me, unfortunately, I had to reset my game and go in on a separate run entirely in order to get it to work. But once I did get it to work, just like all of the other Dark Aether rifts, a brand new portal will spawn in and we need to fight a disciple. And sometimes this disciple can spawn in a mega abomination as well, so just be ready for that. Once you've killed them, the game should give you a sigil you can use to go into the Dark Aether. And from this point forward, I believe from everything I've heard, the Dark Aether portal should remain open permanently. Once again, I can't test this for myself, so look in the comments if you have any questions, but from this point forward, you should now be able to earn sigils within tier 3, and you won't need to go through this whole upgrading process to unlock this Dark Aether portal. Now, once you go into this Dark Aether, you better be ready. Instead of 3 ether bunnies, you are looking for the 3 bright lights in the night sky. These 3 bright beaming lights are the contracts. The very leftmost contract is an HVT Mega Abomination contract. At least that's what I've always seen. However, these function a little bit differently. Instead of a Dark Aether bunny, you need to activate these pillars. Now, once you activate these pillars, it will actually give you an upgraded ability. For the HVT contract, it will give you a zombie head that, when you shoot a zombie, not only will it highlight it yellow, but that highlighted yellow zombie will explode if you kill it with a headshot. This is incredibly powerful, and I would highly recommend doing this contract first, because this head exploding ability is incredibly useful, because this Dark Aether seems to have so many more zombies than any other Dark Aether we've seen before. Plus, the Mega Abomination is not that bad to take out. What's also important to note is that these special abilities come in the form of items that you need to have within your acquisition slot, within your backpack. If you take them out of your backpack, if you don't have space for them in your backpack, you will not get these abilities. So manage your inventory wisely. The centermost pillar of light is the Outlast contract. Interacting with this pedestal will get you a zombie foot that gives you a huge boost in movement speed, and you're gonna need it because this is such a small space to do an Outlast contract. Especially if you're running solo, you are going to need to take full advantage of the zombie headshot exploding ability, the increased movement speed, and you need to run in and out of this area and be patient. This is not like any other Outlast we've seen in the Dark Aether or even in the regular map. You are going to need time to run out of the Outlast area and then survive inside the Outlast area and then run out for cover and safety. It's super intense. Speaking of intense, the last contract, the light on the right, is an Escort contract. Interacting with this pillar will give you a zombie arm. This makes it so that there is a glowing green enemy that is guaranteed to drop a nuke power-up. And yes, you're gonna need this too, because there are a ton of boss zombies, a ton of regular zombies, and instead of the regular 3 sections of a typical Escort, this Escort has 4 sections. If you're running solo, you're gonna need the VR11. And when you complete the Escort contract, there's actually one more secret boss fight. In the center island area, you will notice spore control eggs. If you destroy all of those eggs in the center island, a new boss zombie will spawn in. This is very similar to the story mission boss fight where it's a disciple, and when it spawns in other boss zombies with icons above their head, you need to kill those other boss zombies before you can deal damage to the disciple. Now this boss fight, these spore control eggs are only destroyable once you've completed all 3 of these contracts in the Dark Aether. And once you're done, you can make your way to the only Exfil we found so far in this center island right here. This might be the most difficult Dark Aether we've ever experienced. And if you want to see me take it on all by myself in one of the most entertaining runs I've ever had in Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, be sure to check it out right here and stay beautiful.